Hello. Hello. Hi. My name is James Alberts. I'm a hip-hop artist, and you would know that we are here to talk about hip-hop as a tool for social change. We've got a couple of activities we're going to run through a bit later. First, I just thought we'd start off with a bit about my own culture, so you get a better understanding about why I'm using it and how I'm using it with the younger generation back home. Firstly, what do we know about hip-hop? Just feel free to put your hand up. And does anyone? Hip-hop? Yes.
Rhythmic speech.
Lovely. That's awesome. Anything else? On the street, yes. It was born from the street. Anything else? Yes.
It's coming from the heart.
It is coming from the heart. Lovely. Yes. So.
It was like graffiti and.
Yeah. Yes, much more than just the music. Cool. Well, what I'm going to get you to do first up is to. Do we all like hip hop here, firstly? Okay, so I'm guessing that. Is some on the fence? Are some on the fence? Yeah, cool, that's cool. Is there anyone here that actually doesn't like hip hop? Like, be honest, please. Okay, that's good, that's good. All right. For those who like hip hop, I'll just get you to write down a couple of things that you like about hip hop. Or start thinking about the things that you like about hip-hop. For those who are sitting on the fence and don't know, or also for the people who do like hip-hop, if there's certain things about hip-hop that you don't like, write them down or start thinking about them. All right. So, first and foremost, my name is James Alberts, and I have an alias. In hip-hop, you have an alias. My alias is Jimblah. So, during this session, there's a couple of things that I want you to remember. How I'm going to get you to remember that? So, I'm going to get you to repeat it. So, I really want you to remember my name. Can you still hear me? Yes? Yeah? Okay, so on the count of 3, everybody is going to say Jimblah. Easy? 1, 2, 3.
Jimblah.
Okay, I know we can do better than that. That was all right. It's pronounced Jimblah, like with an L. Okay, so 1, 2, 3.
Jimblah.
Awesome. So throughout this session, there's a few things I really want you to remember, and that's how I'm going to get you to remember it. So anytime you hear me say 1, 2, 3, be ready to shout out really loud, okay? Okay, so I'm an Indigenous Australian. I love hip-hop. In hip-hop, with my art form, I DJ, as well as produce my own music, and I'm a lyricist. Now, I come from the Larrakia and Yanyuwa nations, which is located far north in Australia. That's my, Aboriginal groups. Much of my cultural practices and language have been lost since the settlement of Europeans. So, growing up, I didn't know much about my own culture. And I always felt kind of lost. Like, who was I and where did I fit in? In my culture, in my Indigenous culture, one of the main things is our storytelling. It's a way of how we pass on knowledge to each other, you know, and it's also other art forms, like you would have seen dot paintings and stuff like that. That's what we call our dreaming. So when I'm talking about my story or my life, that's my dreaming. Or my art form, that's my dreaming. This is definitely one thing I want you to remember. So, on the count of 3, you say, our dreaming. 1, 2, 3.
Out dreaming.
Come on, come on. You still sound asleep, you're like, out dreaming. 1, 2, 3. Out dreaming. Lovely. Okay, so it's how we pass on knowledge. At present, my people face many different issues, such as unemployment and poverty and drug abuse, and there's many things holding us back. And at current, in Australia, we only make up 2.5% of the whole population. So we're very much the main minority back home. This is really, you know, it's huge issues that our kids are facing, trying to grow up. I think why I want to tell you a bit about my culture is I think it's important to understand the history of my people for us to be able to discuss why and how I'm using the global phenomenon of hip-hop as a tool in my community to change. Hip-hop has always been about making something out of nothing, and it's always been about giving power to the oppressed. It's always been about having a voice and standing tall and being proud of where you have come from. Due to capitalists exploiting the art form, much of the hip-hop culture is now wrongly represented in mainstream media, which I think is, you know, an attempt to make money off the art form and to gain commercial appeal. There's a big quote by an artist called KRS-One, and he explains that rap is something you do and hip-hop is something you live. Like our brother over here said that there's scratching and DJing. So that's one element of hip-hop. There's 4 elements that make up hip-hop. So there's DJing, there's MCing, which is the rhythmic speech. There's b-boying, like breakdancing, and then there's the street art. So, and it's all about like, it was born out of oppression. It was, you know, in the poorer suburbs of New York, where they didn't really have much, and it just started like stemmed from there. So there's these things in hip hop which are called ciphers, and it's all about getting together with your friends, and you get in a circle, and you start bouncing ideas off of each other, and you start bouncing energies off of each other. So now I'm going to ask if I can have one volunteer to come up on stage with me. If they would be so kind. Awesome, awesome. Round of applause, yes please. Sorry, what was your name again?
Maria.
Maria?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so Maria, can you do as I do? Can you face the audience and put your hand up and do as I do? Go say this and say it really loud when you move your hand. You say hip hop.
Okay.
Yes.
Hip hop.
Okay. Yeah. Can we try it? Can we try it again? Hip hop. Lovely, lovely. Give her a round of applause. Stay there. Yes. All right. So can we have 3 more volunteers? She's coming. You coming? You're putting your stuff away? Yes? Awesome. Lovely. Okay, 1 more volunteer, please. Don't be shy. 1 more. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, so now all of you, face the audience, hand up. Hip hop. Hip hop. You gotta say it like I did. Hip hop. Awesome. All right. Hey?
Okay.
Now, tell me, Maria, how do you feel now that these two of your colleagues are up here joining you? Does it make you feel a bit more comfortable?
Yeah, it's better.
It's better than before?
So exposed.
Yeah? Yeah? Awesome. Okay. Lovely. Round of applause, please. You can sit back down. Now, I'm just trying to set an example here. I want everybody here to put their hand up now and do as these guys did. You say, hip hop. Okay, loud, energy. Hip hop. Much better. What I'm trying to prove is that we are much stronger as a movement and as a collective, and that's what hip hop's all about. When Maria came up here and she was by herself, she was just thinking, what are you making me do? You know? She was very shy. When I got the other two up here, she was a bit more comfortable. When I asked you all to do it, it was much easier. Yeah, so hip-hop's all about a movement, a collective. And I feel that for myself, it's you know, been so beneficial for my social well-being in so many more ways than one. Before I go further, I thought I would share a bit of my main art form we do, which is rapping. So I'll do it slow, and we'll do it a cappella, and this is my story, so this is my dreaming. I was born, 84, in a small town located west of the border of WA on Christmas Day. At 6 in the morning, Mum said, best present she'd ever get was me. She's not that easy to impress, so in I settled. I'm named after James the Apostle, second of 2 kids. I got told we were special, my cousins. Ty, Kimberly, and Levi, they're like my brothers. I always keep them close on my mind. Plus the girls, Tamika, Rakia, Tani, Marley, Kira, and Heather, Nara, and Renee. So many, I can't mention their names. I got the family close no matter what the case. I relocate to the top end, a taste for the tropics, a place to call home for the next decade. And for a change, I moved to the city of Adelaide. I couldn't picture at the time things would never be the same. Got me thinking, what's it being like in the city for a country kid? Everyone's so busy, but in Prospect, I grew up with my best friends Robert, Jeff, and Seb, and Jess. We're 5 brothers. We took our separate paths to fulfill whatever promised. Them good old days gone, but are not forgotten. I had a muso for a father and an artist for a mum. And they encouraged me to dream to do whatever I loved. So growing up, my old man, he got me on the drums at the age of 8. My sister playing the keys. If music was the life that I wanted for me, I found my niche. And all I had to do was believe, to put my head down, focus. I put wheels into motion, received an accolade. Now it's time for my album, and everything was nice. That's as good as could be. And that's about the time where I say peace. Peace. Thank you. So, that's my dreaming. That's my story. Now you know a bit about me. Can anyone remember one of my cousins' names? Michael? Levi, thank you. So that was one of my brother boys' names. Can anyone remember what my father was? Musician, lovely. And my mother? She was an artist. Does anyone remember what year I was born?
84.
84. Awesome. So automatically, I'm identifying who I am. And I'm telling you my story, which is my dreaming. So hip hop, it's identity. When I was growing up, I always felt angry at the world and confused. And I think many of our Indigenous youth back home do. I had no place to channel my aggression. And I also didn't have anything to call my own or to be a part of. In my early teens, I started hanging with the wrong crowd, getting up to mischief, and, the other young Indigenous men that I hung around with, they all had similar stories to me. They had broken down families, you know, parents who were, you know, not doing so good and not really looking after them. So when I hung with my brothers, it was, you know, that was like my family. It was like my second family. I felt a part of something, you know, and I was looking up to these guys, these older lads, and they didn't really, you know, stuff that I idolized in them was that they showed leadership qualities and they showed strength and confidence, which is things that I lacked and that a lot of Indigenous people back home lack as well. So around this time, I started getting into rap music, into hip hop. Didn't really know what the culture was. I just knew that I loved how they had a story and they were talking about something. They were talking about like struggle, you know, something that I could relate to. They were talking about single mothers on welfare and being poor and dealing with issues such as racism. You know, all of this kind of stuff, it just started clicking with me because you know, this is stuff I was going through. You know, I started idolizing these rappers, you know, because they were talking about the struggle and everything. They were bringing it to the forefront, and they were telling everyone how it was, you know. Whereas myself, I didn't really like talking about my own issues or stuff that I was facing or stuff that my people were facing, you know? So listening to these guys, it gave me hope, and it started clicking within me that, you know, I had a story to tell and that I could step up and you know, raise my voice and just say, you know, this is me, this is what I'm going through. So I started writing about my own stories. You know, I started delving deep into rapping, and it just did wonders for me. Like, I wouldn't feel that good, you know. I'd have a bad day, and I'd start writing, and all of a sudden things would, you know, I'd start feeling better. I would be getting weight off my shoulders, you know. I would be getting things off my chest. So I started turning a negative into a positive. I started getting really distracted with hip hop, and around the time I was 18, I had a bad experience and I almost lost my life, so I decided that was when I decided, you know, enough with all following the wrong crowd and stuff, and I started putting all my energy into my music. Main thing I didn't want to be was of what the media and what society perceived me to be. Like, back home, young Indigenous men are kind of seen as, you know, criminals, alcoholics, drug abusers, you know, locked up and that kind of stuff. And I didn't, you know, I didn't want to be that. I refused. All of my friends, all of my brothers that were around me, that's all that they were doing. But I didn't want to be that. I didn't want to become another statistic. So we have about, as I said, there's 2.5% of my Indigenous people that make up the entire population of Australia. Out of that, 24% of Australians who are incarcerated are Indigenous, so that's a massive amount. I started looking at like these things are all around me, like all these stats, and they're all amplified by the media and they're all pushed to the forefront. And it's just, you know, it's detrimental for our young fellas. So I started delving into hip hop. There was youth organizations around that were putting on youth like hip-hop workshops where we would go and record, and we would, you know, we'd have role models and peers who would help us better our skills. And, you know, I went to one workshop and he told me about the 4 elements. And I just remember being so amazed when I found out about this. It just changed my whole world. I didn't know hip-hop was a way of life or as a culture, you know. Who remembers what the 4 elements are? Yes, number one, which is what I'm using right now, is called, yes, which is emceeing. Number 2, DJing, awesome. Number 3, which is the breakdancing, yeah. Can anyone breakdance here? No? Does anyone want to learn how to breakdance? Hey? Cool. Okay, so, yeah, and then there was graffiti. Anyway, so I learned about that, and that just, it blew me away. So I kept going to workshops. It wasn't long before companies started asking me if I wanted to do workshops. So it was a bit daunting at first, but I started doing it. And it was crazy. I started like, you know, I was really amazed at how these kids would look up to me, and you know, and the other tutors that I'd be working with. So that's when I realized I had a huge passion for working with youth. I started seeing like the difference I was making within my community, and that was, you know, really inspiring. Many of our kids are disinterested and disengaged with their schooling lives, and you know, when we would get them into a workshop and we'd get them writing, and because already they have this huge love and this huge passion for hip hop, you know, they're straight into it, and they're writing and they're reading, and you know, more importantly, we were teaching them, and we are teaching them self-expression and how to, you know, as well as creativity, and how to talk about their own issues, and that they have a story, and that they have something to be proud of, you know what I mean? And so, you know, that was really good. Most of the times we would go in, and I'd set up my equipment, because usually we'd record with them. So I'd set up all my equipment, I'd have a microphone, I'd have my computer, and it all looks kind of flash. It's all really techie. And, you know, we're working with kids, you know, 10, 11. And they'd just come in and they'd look at their stuff, and they'd be staring like, you know, wow, what is that? And they'd ask me, what are we doing? What are we doing? You know, really shy. And I'd say, oh, well, we're going to write a song. We're going to write a rap. And straight away they would say, no, I can't do that. I can't do that. Which is a big attitude with the kids that I deal with. And so, you know, it's that attitude, they give up before they even start. Or they even try. They give up before they try. And so that's where we start encouraging them and telling them, yeah, you can do it. You know what I mean? And we let them know that, you know, we give them the confidence to you know, believe in their own abilities, and to realize, you know, that they can step up and do things and not be ashamed about it. In my community, shame is one of the major factors. Aboriginal people find it hard to hold a conversation or to hold eye contact and even talk. So especially with our little kids, and they have a lot of opportunities, but they give up before they can even try, because, you know, they just give up on themselves and they think that they can't do it. So with our hip hop workshops, that's what we were trying to encourage, you know, to write about their story and their dreaming. In our community, teen suicide is one of the major issues, in particular with young men. At the end of last year, I lost one of my friends because he took his own life, and it was really bizarre. We didn't know And it's usually the case because he had a really strong structure, family support system around him. He's very talented. He had, had a bunch of really good friends. He was studying at university, and he had everything going for him. He was a talented guitarist. He was, songwriter. He was actually a breakdancer as well. But yeah, when it happened, we were all just stunned, and he had everything going for him, but he didn't really talk about. He didn't let anyone know what was going down with his life, or with his, with himself, and that's the thing that I think with hip hop is, you can open up and you can talk about these matters rather than just sort of push them to the side and just suppress them, until they actually blow up and you explode. So I think a lot of the things we don't talk about in our community because we're scared to face like the reality of it. And when we start talking about it within our music, and when kids are hearing this kind of stuff, it's bringing it to the forefront, and we're talking about like ways we can go around it, and that we're sharing stories with each other, which means like a young teenage boy hears a song and he realizes that he's not the only one going through that. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's a massive thing we are doing in the workshops, and we're trying to teach the massive importance of education, and through hip hop we're inspiring and influencing and empowering the young fellas. It's definitely that medium that we can do, like we can do that through. I just want to get your help for a minute. Like, what are some negative issues that you think surround hip hop, or like some negative aspects of hip hop? Maria. Violence, definitely. So there's a violence in gangs. What else?
Use of language.
Use of derogatory language and disrespecting women. Definitely. Anything else? Anything else?
Negative fashion.
Language and...
Negative fashion.
Oh, negative fashion. How do you... No, that's interesting. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Like pants hanging down to here?
That's right.
Yeah. Fair enough. All right. So, anything else? Fashion. I haven't heard that. That's good.
I think this has a historic background. The pants almost down to
Does it have? No, I don't think there's anything really behind it.
A friend says something about it, that the prisoners in America
Oh, really?
were not allowed to wear belts or ropes.
Ah, wow. That's awesome. I never knew that. That is so cool.
It was a sign of
Yeah, right. That you've been to prison or
that you feel for
oh, right.
brothers. That's
Cool. Where did you read that? Or did,
I read a book about it. It's a book that should be used in German lectures in schools.
yeah, right. That's awesome. Anything else?
Well, this is the promotion or glorification of the badness.
Yeah.
Cool to be bad.
Yeah. Definitely.
And like pushing men into super macho roles.
Yeah, like the arrogance and the sort of macho bravado type. What about like? Have you seen female rappers doing the same thing? Like
Well, they've got the booty thing going on.
the booty thing, the booty thing going on. Do you know any of them, like Nicki Minaj or something like that? Yeah, cool. Yeah, so definitely. So, what would you? What about like the glorification of sex, or is that how you'd?
That's okay.
What anything else?
Yeah, I mean, you already mentioned like the violence against women, or
Yeah.
and also that yeah, there's only one role for women. That's like they have to be like prostitutes, and then you see little girls they go to school and they have clothes like
Yeah.
or they're dancing like prostitutes.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Do you think you see that in any other types of music?
Any other?
Like, yeah,
Ah,
like pop music, maybe, you know, like,
but it's,
Sex
I
is
think
glorified
it's
in
more.
mainstream music all
Yeah.
the time. All the time.
definitely.
And what these guys are saying is to me, it's a sheer reflection of reality.
What do you think that? Why do you think that that kind of stuff is pushed right up to the top, and why that's what makes money? You know,
Sex sales.
sex sells. Yeah,
Controversial as well. What the most controversial sales.
yeah, yeah, definitely. That's what I've always wondered. I mean, when I first got into hip hop, I listened to like the gangster rap and the stuff that you guys are talking about, where it's all involves all of this kind of stuff. But then when I started learning about it as a culture, I started listening to different artists, and there was a difference. I started hearing this term, conscious rap, which was like they were touching on real life issues, you know. They were touching on racism. They were touching on struggle. And I said, yeah, you know. And I find it hard to believe because there's so much of that type of music that's really good that is conscious, and it's, you know, sound quality, everything. It stands up there with the mainstream popular music, you know, but it just doesn't get as much love, you know. Yeah, so that's one thing I've always questioned. What do you personally think that how we can start, you know, like changing these things, like start, you know, do you think that there'll ever be a time when then it's not like that?
Yeah, when we live in an equal society, when the guys are given equal rights, then they will have no reason to be resentful.
Yeah.
Be angry.
Yeah.
When you're angry, you rebel.
Yeah. That's a good point.
You do things that you regret.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do things that you don't want to do.
Yeah.
It's frustration.
Definitely. Definitely.
You're oppressed and you just want to burst.
Definitely. Definitely. That's a really good point. That's what I think that's how I felt when I was growing up, and I still see a lot of young Aboriginal men who are really angry at the world, and they just, you know, they just want to attack, and so, but yeah, yeah, I just want to say that in our workshops, and that's one of the biggest things that I try to touch on, and that I do touch on in my workshops, is that's not what hip hop is. That couldn't be farther from what the essence of hip hop really is. And it's good because I remember when I got told about hip hop as a culture, and it just blew my mind because I thought that it was about violence and disrespecting women and taking drugs and all of that kind of stuff. So that's one, you know, really good thing that comes about through my community work. What certain things do you like about hip hop? Has anyone heard like conscious music? Yeah. Do you like conscious hip hop? Is there? Do you have any names?
No, I just know the Estonian one.
Oh, really? What's the Estonian hip hop scene here like?
What do you mean about?
No, like, how's the hip hop scene here? Is it healthy? Is it big, or is it small, or is it?
Well, I think that the conscious one is quite small.
Yeah.
I think the main teenager part of it is not aware of it.
Yeah.
And there is the non-conscious part as
Yeah.
well, of course.
And which would you say is more popular with the?
Well, the non-conscious part. Of
Yeah.
course,
Yeah.
because it gets. I'm not sure why, but I think it has more like popular beats and lyrics in it that are more favorable for teenagers. But the conscious part is more, as you say, it has more value in their text and in their beats and their music. For me, for example, and if you go to their concerts as well, you can see in the audience that people are either more grown up or in their way of dressing as well. They are not as teenagers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I think.
Yeah. No, definitely. It's quite weird because it's back in like our Australian hip hop scene that we don't stand for any of that. There's all the mainstream artists that are pushed right up there and that are making huge amounts of money off the music are all conscious lyricists, and they don't speak about violence, you know, or any of that kind of stuff. And it's completely complete opposite of like the full Americanized type gangster rap, you know. So which is bizarre. What? Yes.
Yeah, so that is the problem.
Yeah.
It's the music is good. It's music.
Yeah.
That's the truth. But what is being done to undo the negative part or to address, because it's a form of language, they're trying to say something, they're rebelling.
Yeah.
Isn't there, maybe we should start looking at it as rebellion to begin with, apart from those top ones who make money out of it. Maybe because of their age, they have outgrown the other, I don't know, aspects of it. You know, people like you who are in the business of lecturing and speaking to people about it, maybe should try and start to begin to think of ways.
Definitely.
You know,
Definitely.
turn things around. Make them know, understand that that style of dressing is what? Do they want to be ex-prisoners? Do they want to be identified as such? They don't want to, but they think it's high fashion.
Well, it's just that kind of,
Cool. Bad means good. You know, and all those, and it's all in
Yes, but that is true for almost all teenagers, whether they listen to hip hop.
Definitely. You know, like there's like the punk and. Sorry?
Yeah. Back to conscious rapping. I mean, one of my favorite groups is Flowbots. I don't know if you know.
Okay. Are they European?
They're a US group.
Flowbots?
Yeah. And
Okay.
they've released 3 or 4 albums in the States.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of political commentary, social consciousness. The music is spectacular because along with the rapping, you actually have acoustic instruments, and so they incorporate a more kind of folkish and also classical music in there as well. So their audience is perhaps a little different than say, you know, Flow Rider or whatever. Right. But again, there's a lot more. There's a stream of conscious rapping that is really evolving, and actually a lot of students that are in universities are coming out and
getting into it. Yeah. Well, it's becoming bigger and bigger in like everywhere. May I ask where you're from? Sorry.
I'm from Nigeria.
Nigeria. And have you seen many? Because I've back home. I've got a few like Somalian friends and Sudanese friends, and they are big on. They have a amazing story to tell from, you know, stuff happening back in their homelands, and they're all about speaking on the conscious tip. They don't speak about. They hate all the Americanized and they actually speak about, you know, the real issues and stuff. Do you see any of that in?
Yes,
No?
certainly.
Yeah.
There are people who do the conscious type you're talking about.
Yeah.
But there's also the unconscious type. But what is being done in Nigeria now is that the census board does not glorify the unconscious type.
So what?
In music awards and things,
Yeah, right.
listen to them and remove those ones.
That's
If you
awesome.
have bad language, you don't no matter how good the music is, you cannot win.
Yeah.
So I think that's like kind of a deterrent for such. So
That's-
they are more the country favors the conscious one
Yeah.
better than the other one.
That's good. That's revolutionary stuff. I haven't heard of that anywhere. Sorry.
I think awareness is needed on the conscious
Yeah.
rather than Gaia. I think who's going to look when you wear a coat and sort of pants doing rapping?
Yeah.
It is identity, and probably the awareness is more important than anything else.
Yeah, I think, how you talked about fashion. Fashion is a huge thing about hip hop, shoes and stuff. Nice colors and, yeah. You like this? Yeah? Yeah, and it's that identity thing as well. But definitely awareness, and that's what that's the main thing that I do, and that a lot of people back home are doing. We do have a couple of, I would say, in the mainstream section of Australian hip hop, which is predominantly white rappers and white musicians, they all do the conscious rap, and they all, but in the indigenous scene, they're just still praising all the American stuff, and they're still trying to mimic that. We have some lads back home who are they're actually talking the same stuff that the Americans are. They're talking about shooting people and all that kind of stuff, and it's just it's messed up because they don't do that, And to me, and hip hop in reality it's all about telling your story. It's not about telling someone else's. It's expressing yourself, and the main thing is that it's about creating your own style, and you don't mimic someone else's, or it's about having your own place, your own identity. I think that's why, we have aliases, like, mine's apart from your real name and stuff like that, so, yeah, but, but yeah?
I have a question. Do you think the difference between conscious and unconscious rap is a matter of education? I mean, if you said it's bad language, so maybe, or do you think it doesn't matter if they are poor or rich? Or is it really attitude, or is it also education that's with the language and the...
I think it's the message you're conveying, like, it's all about, it's what you're actually saying within it, like, kind of thing, sorry.
Can it also be connected to like your experiment that it's easier to stand together, 10 people and say the same thing instead of trying to find your own style?
Yeah, that's more like it. That's what it was more about. It's there was it was all about it's all about a collective, and it's all about bouncing ideas off your friends. Like there's lifting each other's spirits up. That's what we do back home, and it's
And is it difficult to get kids to find their own specific thing? Or like when you teach so young?
Well, sometimes, because the other thing is, all they're exposed to is American hip hop, and that's this kind of stuff with the violence and the gangs. That's all they hear, that's all they see on TV. So that's all that they think it is. So by us going in there and saying, you know, a big thing in Australian hip hop is it's really not cool to mimic the American accent, you know, because that's not you, you know. So there's rappers who speak in Aussie, they've got the real Aussie twang, you know, sort of thing. So yeah, and we get a lot of kids who come through and they, you know, some of them I'll be working with some of them will go off and then they'll come back and they'll be like, yo, I'll jump out my car and pull my gap and clack, you know. And we're just like, hey man, what are you talking about, man? Do you actually do that, you know? Oh, you don't do that? Brother, why are you talking like that for, you know? So, yeah, that's it. And it's really good because we're seeing more and more Indigenous hip-hoppers coming up and speaking. Like, it's one of the main things in our Indigenous culture is our story, you know, who we are. So...
But do you mix with
Okay.
do you mix it also with other communities? I mean, do you try to work
Yeah,
with them?
definitely.
Because you said that they learn to build their own identity by listening
Yeah.
this music. Do they also learn to listen to the other who is saying something and to somehow, I don't know, get empathy for what he's doing and then build a stronger, I don't know, relationship with the people who do that as well? So that it's to a really basis thing, which is sharing like both stories, which are actually hard.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the time I go in with one of my best friends who's he's of European descent, so he's white, and I go in with a Sudanese fella, you know. So we were trying to promote that, you know, we're all the same, you know, we're all learning from each other, kind of, you know, and the cultural values and stuff like that. So, if that answers your question, yeah.
Because saying is one point, but knowing how to listen is the other one.
Oh, that's what you're saying. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. They pick up on it really well when we show them other artists stuff who, you know, they realise that when we show them other Indigenous hip hop that they've never even seen before, and this Indigenous hip hop outfit is talking about, you know, cultural issues, you know, and like stuff they do in the outback, and you know, and about getting painted up, and they see Indigenous hip hoppers on stage actually painted up with the didgeridoo and clapsticks and bringing that, you know, that cultural element into it, you know, and that's a big thing, because once they see their own people are doing it, they think, you know, oh wow. And that's what I remember seeing, is when I seen an Indigenous rapper, I thought, wow, look what he's doing. And I knew him as a friend, and I thought, he's just like me, you know, I can do that as well, type of thing. Yeah, so that's...
Do you have any example, any local example to play?
Hey?
Any...
I don't. I have, no, I don't, sorry. I have a couple of CDs that I can give you one afterwards. What are some positive things that you like? After hearing about this, who was sitting on the fence at the start? Who was, you know, who wasn't unsure whether they liked hip hop? And how do you feel now? Have we like?
I think it's like a paradox that all the bad things we named here.
Yeah.
That's the things we know from the commercial hip hop, the American hip hop. And what you were saying, that this comes from that people are angry and that they're doing bad things, but I think those people, they have a lot of money, they live like superstars, and they're just taking this language which wasn't the street before. I mean, people who are really, I mean, I think like you or your community, they have real problems or real issues. They're not doing this bad language. So it's not really true that if you're angry or you have troubles, you make bad music or you use bad words in your music. But it's also, I think, people who are, who are really have problems or have issues and have something to say, they don't use this gangster language.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say that if there's also commercial, like there's also good pop music and there's also bad pop music.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing about hip hop as well, that
it's just like
or young people, the bad hip hop or the commercialized hip hop is easy to understand.
Yes.
Because maybe sometimes the problems are difficult in their language or like in the text. Or for example, for an Estonian, maybe understand English so well, it's much easier to understand sex and drugs, for example, which is
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, this what gives hip hop an active image, because there are people with a lot of money who are superstars.
Yeah,
talking like
Yeah. No, it's funny you say that, because some conscious artists, it's about that thing talking about your environment and stuff and your surroundings, and some conscious artists who will talk about the struggle and whatnot first up, then they'll gain mainstream success, and then all of a sudden they're talking about cars and jewelry and so it's a good point. Was there someone?
I was going to say that's one of the things about hip hop that I love, like even though I like both conscious and unconscious hip hop.
Yeah, I do as well.
It's the honesty part,
Yeah.
and that's why I like it. I listen to both. I listen to the Bang, then listen to the also right after it, because both of them are completely different.
Yeah.
I admire both sides of it, you know.
No, I definitely feel the same. Definitely.
Because they both live different kinds of lives. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't listen to a lot of the mainstream stuff, but like, you know how you're saying Wu-Tang and stuff like that, and like sort of that harder, heavy hitting hip hop, I still listen to that. It's still, you know, very empowering and stuff like that. But I think with how you were saying as well, I think with the younger kids, I think the main thing is that's all they're exposed to, you know. They don't, but it's a good point how you said it might be harder to understand if they're talking about, you know, enlightenment or spiritual. Yeah.
Do they know about I don't know.
I think there's lots of music styles and also other art forms which have like two sides of it, you know. I mean, pop music has it. Hip-hop music, and
I think,
soul music.
yeah.
I mean, and there's always like this bad. People think, yeah, this is bad because they see it on TV. They see it's more almost an extremist of the style of music. You know, you have extremism in all music styles, kind of.
Yeah.
You know, and
I was gonna make
then you have kind of and that's what you see in TV. So that's the image then, and then you have to try as a conscious musician to convince people that it's not like that. It's actually, I mean, I'm a jazz musician, and for me, it's a totally different thing. But I mean, people have a perception of jazz nowadays, which I think is also not how it is. You know, so I'm also always trying to convince people, it's different than you.
Yeah. Well, what was jazz conceived as when it first came out?
When it first came?
Right. Was it conceived as like wild and out there, and you know?
Like way into the history was music of the devil.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then jazz music was the pop music in the 40s or the 50s. I mean, yeah, there were several other opinions on it, but in the 40s and the 50s it was the pop music, you know. And now, and then if you go to the 80s, 90s, it gets less known. It's for old people, you know. And now people start to call things jazzy. And, like everything which is nice and I don't know, which has a blue note in it is jazzy. I mean, what I'm trying to say is that there's always stereotypes in every kind of music, and I don't perceive hip hop as bad. I never did, because I know that everything has its bad side. So, yeah.
So
not, I don't trivialise this, but a real problem with someone like Kanye West is paying an extra 0.5% in his tax bill. Like, that's a real problem. If you rap about that, you alienate 99% of the audience. So at what point can you, is it about first generational problems, or because he's built this huge success? People don't know what it's like to have his huge tax bill, but that's a real thing. So,
Yeah.
So why can't he do that with a level of authenticity without being seen as a huge talent?
Yeah, well, it's...
Anyone who's simply
Yeah. That's a good point.
What can I rap about if they don't have? Yeah.
But it's not seen as a problem.
Yeah.
It's a huge problem.
Yeah. So, but if you don't have any problems anymore, then you can't rap anymore.
That's a problem.
That's a problem.
No, that's his problem now.
Yeah.
Like not having money to buy.
Maybe you should make a song about that he has too much money.
But I really don't mean to trivialise it, but
No, that's
it's like a real problem. Like, that is a real problem.
yeah. Well, I think, yeah, touching on that, like back home, why there's a lot of people don't even listen to American stuff because they can't relate to it at all. Like you were saying, who can relate to having to pay that much tax? You know, and who's going to go, oh yeah, man, I hate paying that much tax when they listen to it, you know what I mean? But yeah, no, that's definitely a good point.
I think it's a very it's the same as in politics and the situation now in Europe, and I think in America as well. They work with fear now, and it's always this.
Yeah.
And that's what the rappers do. These commercials, they work with fear.
Yeah.
Because it's better than everything is getting better, and they no, it's worse, and you know that.
Well, that's a really good point, because the first hip-hop rap groups that were coming out, all they spoke about was like political injustice and, you know, like Public Enemy and that's all they spoke about, you know, and then that kept happening, and then all of a sudden that died down, and then, you know, big record labels got involved, and you know, but it makes me wonder. I don't want to get too deep into it, but you know, when something happens like that, it makes you think that because it was such a powerful movement, it was such a strong movement, and it was bringing all these colored people together, and there was an uprising. You know, like, were they scared, and were they saying, okay, well, let's take this and let's dumb it down, you know, and turn it to what it is today? Like, there's, yeah, no.
So from earlier, I mean, I love hip hop, and I keep hearing in slums in Africa
Yeah.
and things like that.
What do you, how do you go about stuff?
Well, there's a great movie, by the way, it's called Hip Hop Revolution.
Okay.
In Kenya.
Yeah.
What I work as well.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of the stories of rappers that have come out of the slums of Nairobi, and you know, there's no money, so you know, they're not going to be Jay-Z or whoever, but they're telling their story in a very conscious way, and there's a lot of women involved actually as well.
Yeah, that's always a good thing.
My point was, you know, I lived in New York, I lived everywhere with this rappers around me and so on and so forth, and the whole point was about poetry. Oh, it's poetry, it's poetry. So where is poetry? I mean, I believe it's poetry, but it's really good, it's really poetry, but in your experience, where is poetry? And what about this refining that aesthetic of hip-hop into an art form that is really, you know, I don't want to say classy, that's the wrong word, because it's like saying jazzy.
Do you, what, I kind of just don't understand, like, how...
Well, you gave us your story here.
Yeah.
But to so many hip-hop artists, and especially rappers, you know, the flow.
It's all about flow. Yeah.
About having an awesome flow. It's
not your tone and,
beautiful art.
It's got to sound good.
Right? It's poetry.
Yeah.
So as I'm asking, in your experience, at which point as a conscious artist do you really pay attention to that, and what kind of structure do you...
No, I look at it exactly the same as mainstream artists would. You know, I'm a perfectionist, and I try to get the best sound that I can possibly deliver. I try to make the beat as good as I can make it and sound as clean as I can make it and arrange as, you know. Yeah, that's, I think all conscious, you know, are trying to do the best that they can do, you know. I don't think it's the music quality at all that's the reason that it's, you know, conscious music isn't being, you know, isn't on the charts or whatnot. But yeah.
But you were saying that that most of the unconscious hip hop music comes from like the commercial music from the United States, right? And so, are there any communities within the United States who, and groups who do the same as you do?
Yeah. Well, that's what I started looking at, like artists like Talib Kweli and Mos Def, you know, even some mainstream artists still do talk conscious issues, and you know, like Kanye West when he did Jesus Walks, that was touching on, you know, All Falls Down. He was touching on conscious issues and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's what the American conscious music is how I was first exposed to that type of thing. But yeah, I think it is the America that is spewing out a lot of that. You know, I don't know too many countries, in my experience anyways, that are doing heaps of that kind of music.
Mostly the dancing is really, especially now, really popular.
Yeah, like breaking and crumping and
I think also the cult, it's a really healthy culture. So
yeah.
There's no really negative.
Yeah.
Connotation.
Like fighting or anything.
In Holland.
Yeah. Can you tell me how how are you seeing it benefit their lives or their attitudes or, you know?
You're talking about working in Kibera, which is a large slum in Africa. Yeah. I mean, these are orphanages. For the most part, most of these kids have lost their parents in the 2008 riots in Nairobi, right? And so stories have to be told. You know, these are kids ages 6, 7, you know, through 17, and they're massively concentrated in the slum. They may have a relative that they know is alive, or they may not. And so the story is very hard to be exposed, because, well, first of all, the numbers are huge. I mean, there's 1 million people living in 1 square mile, and if anybody has been to New York and Central Park, Kibera, the largest slum in Africa, is really literally the size of Central Park, and there's 1 million people living in there. And out of that 1 million, 600,000 under the age of 12. So there's a lot of kids to be empowered there and saved, and let alone have food on their table. So anyway, working with the children, though, it's interesting because you ask, with what's your name? It's like you started, right? And then you ask, well, how old are you?
Yeah.
And then the minute you put a microphone in their hand, whether it has power or battery or not, it doesn't matter.
They're just like, you see the change, or yeah.
And all you have to do is just beatbox.
Yeah.
Off they go. And the social workers are standing there, writing down the story that they wanted to hear for so long.
Yeah.
So it's magic. It's really
Yeah. No, we definitely see a lot of that. Just attitudes change, and especially when they're hearing themselves back or they're hearing their other friends. You know. Yeah. So, how would you say their attitudes are when they're not? You know, how would you say you got a kid and then you said, "Hey, man, try this rapping thing out." You know, how would you see, you know, their attitudes change, or, you know, their confidence grow, or?
Well, it's momentarily. At the moment, of course, the attitude changes. And of course, the smile comes on their face, and of course, they feel a sense of community because, you know, they're like, I want to do it, I want to do it. But the problem, of course, since we're talking about music and social change, is sustainability in this respect. Because, you know, I'm going to leave and go back to the United States. So when's the next time that I'm going to be back and do the same thing? And who out of the people who are around them is going to follow that up? So yeah, workshops like the one you're doing in a Western country is helpful, but in developing countries, I mean, hip hop is really the common language. throughout African countries. And if we focus on it on a very positive way, really a lot can be achieved.
Definitely. Definitely. Like when I go into rural communities, they're in the middle of nowhere, and they're very much like, you know, tin houses, and they, you know, no money at all. But yeah, you can definitely see the change. And what I've been trying to get happen is, like you said, when you go there and then you do your thing, and then they have an awesome time, then you're out, you know, and then it just stops. We've started like training up one of the elders, not elders, but you know, one of the young fellas our age, training them up to mentor the other young fellas, so we can keep that thing happening, you know. And then when we come back out and record with them again, they're, you know, and it's, yeah, the changes you're seeing with the kids is, yeah, it's amazing. Well, cool. Is there anyone else got any questions or anything they want to talk about? Hey.
I'm just thinking what kind of working methods you're using
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like she said, first thing I do is I say, okay, what's your name? You know, and I get them to write. I mean, we could run a little workshop now if you wanted to. Yeah? All right, this is what we do. So get a pen and a pad. And first thing you do is write your name. So after that, I get them to write down their nickname or come up with an alias. So if you're gonna, like, my nickname was Jimblah, so I'd write James Alberts, aka Jimblah, you know what I mean? And if they get stuck, say, well, think about what kind of things you like, whether it's, if it's an animal, a lot of the kids like using dog, Snoop Dogg, I guess. So if you know, if their name was Terrence, he'd be like, yo, I'm T-Dog, or something like that, you know? So I say anything, and it's really good, be creative with it, come up with, it doesn't have to sound super cool, it can sound funny, and so yeah, you get a nickname. Does anyone want to share their nickname, or their rap name? Yes, Maria, you're awesome, thank you. You like saving me.
My nickname is Evato. I do hip hop, so
yeah, cool.
that's the name of one of the muses.
Yep.
In the Greek and Polish.
Oh wow.
That's the muse of lyrics, and she you see her in the picture always with string instruments. So I play the bass, so it was the perfect thing.
Cool. Awesome.
Well, along the muse, Erato, that's beautiful. I'm Greek. Anyway, mine would be errant muse, along that, because I'm a composer and I'm a performer also, so I just travel all over the world, and errant since it's like, you know, out there, kind of lost, always looking for adventure. Muse, since that's what I do.
Awesome. What's yours?
Mine?
Yes.
Okay, I have some recordings, so I'm called Joe Mox.
Oh, really?
I'm Josephine Mox.
All right.
Joe and Mox. My stage name is Joe Mox.
Are you a singer or? Yes. Lovely. Who actually just made one up just then? No one made. Yes. Awesome.
I'm Jazz Cat.
Jazz Cat. Oh, Jazz Cat. Smooth. Jazzy.
It was pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Pretty obvious.
That's awesome. So already you're like, there with the kids, you know, you're identifying your interests just by your name. What was yours? Miss K. Miss K. Cool. So yeah, does anyone else want to share their nickname, their rap name? No? No? Okay, so this from the get-go, this is what I say to their kids. Like, I'm like, they don't want to show me their rap name. I'm like, come on, man. It's, you know, this is no time to be shy or You know, this is you, this is who you are. Just stand up and say, hey, this is me. My name's Miss K. You know what I mean? Right, so you got your rap name. Then I get them to write down little lists, like maybe five, or even if you do 10, it depends how much you want to do. At least 5 things that you love, whether it's you love the color pink, or whether you love spaghetti, or whether you like pop music, or whether you like particular artists, or anything. So usually when I say to the young fellas, if I ask them what they wrote, they pretty much have to tell me. You know, if I ask them what their nickname is, they gotta tell me, because they can't be shy. Can't be shy. It's not hip hop. Hip hop's just, you know. So Claire, what's your rap name? How you doing? If you got stuck with your rap name, it's a good thing, because as I said, the collective, you talk with your friends and you bounce some ideas off your friends, or you say, hey, do you have any ideas? You know, it's always good. I don't think sometimes names you can't choose yourself. It's always good if someone else chooses them for you. But someone else tell me their rap name.
Yeah. It's Kaiko, which is my nickname, which
cool.
is my name Kaja.
Kaja.
It's echo in Estonian.
Yeah.
So Kaiku is echo in Finnish. So my mom calls me Kaiku.
Kaiko.
That was came from there.
MC Kaiko. Cool. Alright. Can we hear your rap name at the back there?
That was very boring.
No, just share. Just share.
Timmy Boy.
Timmy Boy. That's awesome. Timmy Boy. Awesome. Oh, that's good. That sounds heaps hip hop. Timmy Boy. Okay, so now you've got like a list of things. Has everyone got a list of things? Can someone share with me, Miss K? Things that represent you and things that you like.
Yeah, I only have 3 things of them.
Yeah.
Singing, shoes, and summer.
Singing, shoes, and summer. All right. So once you've got your list, then you start off with your first line. First line's usually always the hardest. In the first line, you say hello. All right. So you can either say you greet like you were saying hello. So if when you see your friends you say hi, then you can be like hi. If you see your friends and you're like what up, you can be like what up, it's Miss K. Or yeah, so first line is greeting and then your name. So you can be like what up, it's Miss K, or hey, it's Miss K, or sup, it's K. You know, so yeah, so first line is your greeting and then your name. So, and I always encourage the kids to use their own lingo, their own language, you know, which is always cool. You know, you're getting your own background in there.
How you greet your mom and your friends, right?
Sorry?
It's different how you greet your mom than your friends, of course. So you use how you greet your friends, I suppose.
What do you mean?
You're talking about that we need to have, you know.
Oh yeah, no. Just say it's always up to you. Don't let me try and, you know. I'm not gonna say no. You can't write that. You know. Yeah, it's all whatever you want to say. If you want to say greetings, it's Miss K. You know, whatever you want. Timmy Boy. Salutations, awesome. See, that's creative. Yeah. So okay, so salutations It's Timmy Boy. All right, I'll take the attention now. That's good. That's original. I'm pretty sure that you're the only one who's. Yeah, I really like it. All right, so your first greeting and then your name. Does someone want to? Which is your first line? So Miss K, I keep picking on you.
It's, what up? It's Miss K in the house.
Oh, she like rocking all that. What up? It's Miss K. Man. All right, anyone else? Please share with us. I can see people thinking. And don't be shy. Such a shy bunch. We got salutations. Jazz Cat.
Very well, this is the Jazz Cat.
Sorry?
Very well.
Very well, this is awesome, awesome. Okay, something different, hasn't it, Claire? Come on.
I still got names I'm missing on. Like, by the end of the week, I'm going to have a name. Maybe regret the decision, I'll tell you this.
Alright, so we keep it very simple. So we got the greetings. So it was what up, it's Miss K. What up, it's Miss K in the house. And then your next line would be something along the lines of what do you like? So Miss K likes to sing. So she could be like, you know, what up, it's Miss K in the house and I love to sing. Something like that. That would be, so yeah. First line is your greeting, then your name, and then you like something. What is it you like? You're willing to share? So do you write your own music as well? Yes.
It's a long time I stopped recording.
Oh really? You should start again.
Hello everyone, I am Josephine. Joe Mox for short. Joe Mox for short. I love to sing, I love to sleep, but that's when I'm done with eating.
That's awesome. You're a natural. Definitely. All right, who else wants to share? Salutations, Timmy Boy. Come on, what's your next line? What do you like?
Reggae.
Reggae?
I put Brazil.
So you like Brazil? So can you rap your rap out how it goes so far? Yeah?
At the end of the week, like you.
This is what it's all about. You just do it. You don't be shy.
I'm feeling enough, so by the end of the week, I promise. Promise.
We won't be.
Jazz Cat, what do you like apart from jazz?
Oh wait, just half a minute. I was.
Okay, all right, he's in the zone. I can see some people like thinking really hard.
This is a rap with many greetings. I'm gonna rap and make some music till your soul is bleeding.
Awesome. Do you rap in your native tongue? So you're a yeah, cool. Yeah, no, cool. Do you know what would be cool is if you wrote another little rap in your native tongue? That would be cool. I think that would be awesome anyway. I'd love to hear it. Can you show me your rap, please? See, these...
I'm in Estonian, but it gets really cheesy in English, so no.
Really?
No, but
Right, do it in Estonian.
But I have just 2 lines.
That's okay. Let's just give it a go.
I didn't write it down, I just had it. Tere, siin on Kaja, mul oleks jälle üks kohvi vaja.
Awesome. See, yeah. It's all about the rhythm, and you're like, with Miss K as well, when she started rapping, she started bopping your head. You know, as when you see rappers, they're always doing this. It's like you're keeping their timing, you know. All that rhythm. Anyone else? What do you like? Can you let me know? Yeah, I'm looking at you.
Me.
Yeah. What's your nickname first?
Oh, we got the P word.
P Wolf? Wolf. That's awesome. See, that's good. That's fun. That's awesome. It's fun. And what was your greeting?
Scott. I'm going to delegate to Keith.
Special K-Man he was actually.
The K-Man. Special. Greeting, I don't know. Alright, it's P. Yeah, right, P word.
Sorry?
Alright, it's P word.
Alright, it's P Wolf. And what do you like? Alright, it's P Wolf. And I like... You like what? Tweed?
Jello.
I like the cello and beer.
Cool. Alright, so...
I couldn't make it rhyme either, so...
Eh? Oh, there's lots of things that rhyme with beer.
I would accept lager.
Yeah, lager. Alright, can one of you girls here, please? And yeah, you. What do you got? You look so nervous.
I am. I've never.
Just give it a go. Yeah, it's all fun.
Okay, my nickname is Handmade, because I like to make things.
Handmade. That's awesome. It's heaps good.
So, good morning. This is Handmade. I like to play the cello with my hands. I like to make clothes with my hands. I like the sun. I like to read a book. I like to sing, and I like to talk about languages. I like to drink coffee when I read diary.
Awesome. So I know heaps about you already. I know heaps about you already. You like? Oh, sorry. Yeah, lots. Heaps. Sorry. Can you share with us yours? I've seen you working hard at it.
Yeah, it's new to me as well, but my name is Charlotte. My name is Caroline.
Yeah.
My family calls me Charlotte.
Like-
Well, I don't know. Hi there, it's Charlotte. I like groceries.
Awesome. So when you get to, is that all you had? Okay, so what I get the kids to do once they get to that point is that's going to be their complete first line. And then they're going to write a list. You're going to write 3 or 4 words that rhyme with your last word, which was juice. So you're going to brainstorm, you're going to think, okay, juice, fruit. Doesn't need to exactly rhyme, like room, booze. So write it down. Like 3 or 4 words that rhyme with your last.
I will do that second
Timmy boy. So does someone want to tell me their last word, if they're getting stuck or?
Yeah, my last word
Yeah.
is journal.
Journal.
I don't like it.
That's hard. Journal. Okay. Colonel. Awesome. Helping out, Colonel. Internal.
Inferno.
Inferno, yeah.
Anyone else?
Learn all.
That's cool. That's good. It's heaps good.
Words.
Did you wanna? I'm expecting big things from you. Really?
Actually, I like it small.
Yeah, short and sweet.
Aaron Hughes, I love to fly. Music aside, I'll travel till I die.
Like that. Awesome. She's digging it. Easy.
So there is a revolution in Nigeria. We're trying to internalize. Of course, the rap started from America. And
Yeah.
At first, they copied hook, line, and sinker, but now they are integrating the indigenous languages.
With their own.
What came to my mind when I say eat, done with eating my favorite, amala, ewedu, amala, ewedu. Then I go into a local melody. Ekpo bewa beo, ekpo bewa beo. Then I come back to the rap. I love to travel. I love to fly.
So you wrote a whole song.
That's another thing that, maybe to talk about. A way to liberate the shyness is to use a favorite sample of a song that you love.
Yeah.
You just put it in the background and then you just try to rap on top of that.
Yeah.
And it beats you up because you have the company of a favorite singer right behind you.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. All right, who's willing to share their rhyming word? Miss Kay.
Okay.
What was your last word of that? Of your first line?
My first line is sing.
Oh, okay, it says sing. And you, what were the rhyming words that you came up with for sing?
It's the whole thing is what up. It's Miss K in the house, and I love to sing because I think it's my thing.
Awesome. Cool. Anyone else? I'm really hanging out for Timmy Boy to show us this. I can see you thinking so hard. I looked over and you're like, Brazil. Yeah, it's hard. Yeah. Cool.
Jazz Cat has a line.
Yeah.
I have a line.
You have a line?
Yeah, I have a line.
I can see you.
Yeah, I have a line. Okay, I will do it. Very well. Very well. This is the Jazz Cat on the floor. I like to dance, to sing, and then some more.
Yeah.
Awesome. Flow. Cool. Does anyone else wanna? Nah. Any of you guys at the back? No?
Español.
Yeah.
Yeah?
En español, una.
Oh, yes, yes, please.
Somos de la tierra donde nace el sol. Música caliente con mi nación. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh.
Awesome. Cool.
No posible.
Cool. Did you want to share with us yours?
Mine?
No, the fella behind you. Yeah, you don't have one?
I could throw something freestyle if you really want.
Yeah, yeah, it's a yeah,
I wrote a song about beach guitar and surfing. I think I wrote. So
Okay.
my name is Special K. I like to go to the beach on a sunny day. I like to play guitar till I see the stars. Surfer, I don't know.
Cool.
I'm all done.
Does everyone know what freestyling is? Yeah. Cool. Does anyone else want to have a freestyling? It's always fun. No. Yeah. Some people find it easier to freestyle, but cool. Does it? Yes.
Can you hear something from you?
I don't. I can do like more a cappella stuff, but I haven't got my CD with me at the moment, so I can't play. If you wanted me to do another a cappella, so, yeah. All right. I'll show you a song I wrote for my friend who passed away. The first verse is, so I look back to yesterday as if it was now, and see you smiling in the clouds up above, and I'm proud that I ever met you, had the chance just to call you a friend. Way back when, in that workshop, and I'll never forget, you showed a strength that I'd never seen at just 16. You had the world at your feet and the biggest of dreams ready to blow up. Everybody's life you touched, as Lord knows what it's like when the times get rough, and too young to feel alone in that place that you are forever in our hearts, and each and every one of us. I see the sun coming up as tomorrow awaits. I can't escape this feeling, it's crazy, calling out your name with no response, and I'm thinking that maybe I could have been there for you, and if only I'd known. I know what it's like to feel when there's nowhere to go, trapped and lost, alone, looking out for that hope. So that's it.
I
Wow.
have a question.
Yes.
Do you make your own beats, or do you?
Yeah. I did. Since I was 8, I've been playing the drums, and and my old man always got me into music, all different kinds of music. So I've had I think that's where a big love came from, especially with making and producing like music backings and stuff. So. Yeah, I'll hand out a couple of CDs. I've got a couple here, so I'll give you one, and I'll give some to the YAG, Youth Action Group.
Can we find your music on iTunes?
Yeah, it's on iTunes. That's probably the only place you'll be able to get it internationally. But yeah. Is there anyone else want to share their? Do you want to share yours? Yeah, awesome.
Mein Name ist Agato, gegrüßt dir Poeten, komm sperrt die Lausche auf, ich liebe es aufzutreten, ich liebe die Bücher, ich liebe die Musik, ich bin in den Rauschen der Kunst.
Awesome. Cool. What language was that? Hey? Oh, German, right. Yeah, German's got a huge hip-hop scene, hasn't it? Germany.
So it's in my case, it's Austrian.
Oh, okay. And the French hip-hop scene's really big, I hear, as well?
But they have their own language in France, because they have the verlan, I don't know if you've heard about that. They put the word in the other way back. So it's like you don't say, like for crazies, you would say Z crazy.
Oh, really?
Their own language is that, it's a banlieue language, they call it this way.
Wow.
Yeah, they have, it's really like, we also speak this way sometimes.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you create, des fous, you say, you, it's like, I use that, I also use it, so it's pretty an enormous culture, and it's everywhere.
Yeah. Well, I've heard a little bit of it, and like the hip hop, and it sounds amazing. Like they have this natural kind of. Same with UK hip hop. I really love. You know how UK hip hop, they use their own accent, you know, and it works so well. Like.
Seeing in the UK seems to sound really underground, like especially in Glasgow and Scotland.
Yeah.
Underground scene.
Yeah.
It's just thriving. Really underground. It's really kind of raw.
Yeah, like Skinny Man and oh, is he? Oh, okay. So I get it all mixed up. And
All the British hip hop, it's all the kind of ones that use British accents.
yeah, I'm thinking. Sorry.
There's one guy who writes lots of Madonna and Britney Spears and all that, and he's got this huge industry of writing hip hop for these guys.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's amazing. They just put their layer on top.
Yeah, cool.
It's a weird hybrid of pop and meets hip hop. It's actually quite.
Yeah. Cool. I see hip hop as anything, man. You can bring any influence into it. So, you know, because it started with the sampling, and they would sample anything, you know. country and classical, and so.
That's happened with like the hip hop and jazz and soul. So they also that became beat or soul, right?
Yeah. I love that song. I love D'Angelo. Cool. Well, thanks, Yves. Thank you.